Hey guys, and welcome to our curated month of November, where we are going to be talking about, honestly, probably my favorite genre, and that is neo-noir. So welcome to our first review for Neo-Noir November. That is a mouthful. But we are starting things off big with one of my favorite directors and probably one of his most underappreciated films. We are talking about Brian De Palma's 1981 film Blowout. This is a movie that was did horribly when it originally came out. Almost tanked the career of star John Travolta. But as recently in the last probably 10 to 15 years, gotten a lot of love. And a little before that, thanks to such people as Quentin Tarantino, who cited this as one of his favorite movies, and as the reason he put Travolta in Pulp Fiction. But we're not talking about that right now. We're talking about, to me, what is honestly one of De Palma's best, and that is 1981's Blowout. This is written and directed by De Palma himself. Stars a very young, very pretty John Travolta as the character of Jack. He is a sound recorder for the film industry. It's all those fun sounds you hear in movies, those have to be recorded. And that's his job. And he is out recording and accidentally records an assassination. And the movie just digs its heels in it and drags you from there. We're also given great performances by Nancy Allen as the sweet yet naive Sally, who is tied up in all of this, as well as probably our most equally subdued with scary John Lithgow as the nefarious government shadowy executioner of all these nefarious deeds, as well as an early role by Dennis Franz playing the total scumbag he played up until his role as Detective Andy Sipowicz on NYPD Blue. And yeah, the thing about this movie is it's so much about, it celebrates filmmaking as well as the political thriller of movies from the past, whether it be some of Hitchcock's work, like North by Northwest, stuff like The Manchurian Candidate, even that there's a movie from the 60s, I believe it was a French film, that this movie, the idea is loosely taken from, called Blow Up. That movie involves pictures, as well as real life kind of American homegrown conspiracy theories, whether it's the Zapruder film, the Chappaquiddick, the stuff with the Kennedys. All that comes together in this movie, and Brian De Palma handles all of it with superb directing, and he does one of the things that De Palma does best, whether he's a filmmaker you like or not. Like I said, he's one of my favorites because nobody does tension to me like De Palma, whether it's a movie like this, or the museum scene in Dressed to Kill, or has really, I think, underrated his version of the Black Dahlia murder. Or probably still kind of my favorite De Palma, and definitely probably one of his most famous outside of the one that everybody makes famous, even though it's not really good at all, but The Untouchables. He has a way of, whether it's his use of slow-mo or just the way he stretches scenes out, nobody builds tension like De Palma. The closest would be, of course, who De Palma was also always chastised for emulating, that of Hitchcock. But honestly, to be accused of trying to make films like what is considered to be the master of this genre, why not go for it? Also with the music by Pino Donaggio. He was a longtime collaborator of De Palma, did the music for Carrie, this, Dressed to Kill, I believe all the way up until like maybe Snake Eyes, like late 90s. He also did a lot of music for Full Moon Pictures, Meridian, the Oblivion movies, and then two of the most famous horror movies to come out of the late 70s, early 80s, Donald Sutherland's Don't Look Now and The Howling. And the score of this movie, whether it's the kind of doomed love theme for Jack and Sally, or if it's just the kind of the march of the intrigue, thrillerness of it all, absolutely fantastic score, and one that is very memorable. To me, the most important thing about this movie, besides sound, which sound is a huge part of this movie, is the cinematography, which is done by Vimos Zsigmond. He did some of De Palma's early stuff. He's also directed probably 3 of the biggest quote-unquote movies of the time. He was a cinematographer for, whether it's Spielberg's Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Michael Cimino's The Deer Hunter, or Deliverance. And the way he shoots this movie, of course, it's a De Palma movie, so you're going to have 2 things. You're going to have split screen, and you're going to have the split focus diopter lens that he uses, that only, honestly, it's his signature, and I love the way that he does use it in movies. He himself was quoted as it being a great tool because as a director, your job is to tell the audience what they're looking at, what they're supposed to look at. And if you are able to put 2 things that are not together in focus, which you would do with that split focus diopter lens, he's able to tell you both of these are equally important, even though they may not be in the same room. And he does it so well. Whether there's a scene early on with John Travolta putting sounds on tape, with TV on in the background, talking about the governor and how popular he is among eager voters. So much so that the sitting president at the time, should be worried. Which totally sets up what is coming, whether it's the beautiful shots of when he's out on this amazing bridge, using a mic to pick up the sounds that he uses to end up recording the blowout. Or also when you see John Lithgow cleaning up loose ends, it's used a lot, and it's done fantastically. I will say also, cinematography wise, this movie has one of my favorite film scenes, and it's the end. I won't totally spoil what has happened, but there's a beautiful scene with just revolving around Travolta and Nancy Allen while there's all these fireworks going off in the sky, and it almost kind of looks like green screen, but you can't really tell. It's done absolutely beautifully. It's still one of my favorite shots on film. Again, this is a movie that totally digs its heels into other films we know, other categories of the neo-noir that we know. Whether, again, it's the idea of the everyday man stumbling into, in this case, political assassination and cover-up. Or the idea of dealing with, an everyday guy just kind of falling into this dark world and doing his best to get him and the woman he's met along the way out of it, and how tall an order that's going to be for everybody to get away with their lives intact, because the people who are covering this up are not planning on leaving anyone to let anybody know of their nefarious deeds. I am, again, going to try to do these spoiler-free, because I think you should totally check this movie out. Again, one of De Palma's best, and also one of the best of this genre. Again, I'm not sure so much why this movie did terribly as it did, but I'm glad it has picked up it's been reevaluated by a lot of people and is now considered a classic. Again, it's in the Criterion Collection, and again, outside of maybe 1 or 2, I think this is, of all of De Palma's catalog, this is one of my favorites. I think it's amazingly acted, it's amazingly filmed, and honestly one of the most gut punch movies of De Palma's. but certainly of this genre too. And so I highly, highly, highly recommend you check out Blowout. I'm pretty sure it's streaming most places. You can also get it on physical media. Like I said, Criterion put out a beautiful version of it. Even if you're not a De Palma fan, but you love things like early Travolta, because Travolta is spectacular in this movie. Again, another actor who has kind of fallen off in the last couple of years, but when you look at his overall filmography, one of the greatest actors. I always will be happy to see Nancy Allen do anything because she is absolutely fantastic. And anytime you're going to give me John Lithgow, man, I'm 100% in. So, again, do yourself a favor and find a copy or find a streamer for Blowout. I think you're going to have a really great time, especially if you love this genre. Now, I hope you do, because all of November, we're talking about neo-noirs, and we'll get more into what neo-noir is as we go on through the month. Just know that for this first month, we are covering 4 movies that I consider to be like perfect examples of what the neo-noir is. From the beginnings in the late 70s till now, to up until present day. And so next week, we're actually going to not only dive way into the future from 1981, we're also going to go way across the other side of the world, because we are talking about one of my favorite dark revenge thrillers that is just absolutely intense. So you're going to want to buckle up for next week. We're talking about the South Korean just breathless ride, I Saw the Devil. It's absolutely fantastic, and I can't wait to talk about this movie with you guys. So I hope you stick around for Neo-Noir November. And let's have some fun talking about some really, really great movies. And we'll get back to talking about weird, good, not so good stuff. But for the month of November, we're going to be talking about classics. So buckle up. We're going to have fun. And I'll see you guys next week with I Saw the Devil.